Matches below.
Hey, what's up guys? Matches Balone here, bringing guys another movie review. Today we're going to be talking about Suicide Squad. So as you can see, I am wearing my Suicide Squad t-shirt. I saw the movie last night, and I'm actually going to watch the movie again tonight. So if that's not telling you how I felt, simply put, I really liked the movie. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I know that there are a lot of kind of mixed reviews coming in. Some people hate it, some people liked it. I really went into the movie, clean mind, open mind, and just hoping for the best. And I gotta say, David Ayer and the whole cast just nailed it. I'm a huge Batman fan, so BVS was definitely a more exciting movie for me. It was more anticipated. But I gotta say that Suicide Squad was definitely the better film. It just had a lot more character, a lot more personality, and simply put, a lot more attitude. Um, I don't necessarily think a movie needs to be fun to be a good movie. It's all about storytelling and how you want to tell the story. But I gotta say, Suicide Squad was fun throughout the whole film. One of the big things that I just noticed that was really cool was the music. This was one of the few movies that I was actually kind of paying attention to the soundtrack. And what's really cool is that towards the later end of the film, when it's finally finished, the actual theater room starts to sing along to one of the Suicide Squad songs. So it kind of just to kind of give you the idea and the atmosphere that I was in as I saw the film. But yeah, Suicide Squad. It is another story of the Suicide Squad. If you guys don't know, this is a team mainly comprised of supervillains. Right, the government is kind of coercing them to work for them to do these kind of like black op missions. And the reason they're called Suicide Squad is because if anything goes wrong, they ultimately get killed. Right, it is a life or death situation. So just set up the premise. The movie itself is just like another mission. Things gone wrong. They're sending in this squad, and hopefully they can get the job done. I think it was really cool. Now, of course, one of the major problems with any big team movie is this sense of too many characters. Kind of being very cluttered. Not enough screen time for everybody. But like I said, that is kind of the problem with every team movie. This is a very Deadshot heavy film. Rick Flag is the main leader of the entire team, of the entire operation. He's like the analog for Amanda Waller, but Deadshot is like the leader of the bad guys, right? It's like he's the one who Rick Flag gives the mission, and Deadshot he's the one who really kind of puts the team into work and be like, hey, we got to do this for X and X reason. So Deadshot is clearly one of the more main, if not the main character of the film. Second to him would be Harley Quinn. Now, I gotta say, going into this film, I was a little scared for Harley Quinn just because this is the first time they're gonna bring her into live action, and some of her more recent kind of appearances, I haven't been fully supportive or just an entire fan of. One of the big issues was I didn't want to see a love triangle. I didn't want them to kind of force a relationship between Deadshot and Harley. If it had come to pass and it was fluent, I'd be fine. But to kind of really push this whole love triangle with Harley, I wasn't a fan of. Luckily, they didn't really do that. Harley was, just pardon the tongue, mad love for Joker. So that was really cool to see that, she was able to stand on her own, not having to kind of be a love interest to Deadshot. And she still had that classic Harley take of, her backstory with Joker. Joker is another character I want to talk on real quickly. Going into the film, the fact how they kind of marketed and stuff, you would assume Joker is a bigger character in the film and that he will show up more often. He doesn't show up that much, and he is a very side story compared to the overall movie, but it works. This is not a Joker film, this is not a Batman film, this is a Suicide Squad film. So it makes sense that Joker isn't there a lot. Now I gotta say I was, just blown away by Jared Leto's Joker. That was another thing where I was like, man, you know what? I don't know how they're gonna portray him with the grilled teeth and the tattoos. The whole kind of gangster motif. I was just, I was a little. And I gotta say, this has got to be probably the closest real life interpretation of the Joker I have seen. To me, the Joker has always been somebody who, as soon as he breaks out of Arkham or whatever prison he's being held at, he gets a gang and he starts to go to work, and he essentially whatever he needs and does, he gets it, no questions asked. And that's how Jared Leto and the team, kind of portrayed Joker. So I really like that. There's also a lot of iconic imagery between Joker and Harley, which I was, again, just fanboying and just like, oh my god, I can't believe I'm actually seeing this in real life. I don't want to really talk into spoilers, but there's this one really famous scene, kind of picture that Alex Ross drew of Joker and Harley that is in the film, and I'm just like, oh my god, I can't believe that happened. So, there's a lot of love for just the history of not only the squad themselves, but each individual character. So I like that a lot. Now, as you can see, I am talking very, much about certain particular characters. Other characters like, Diablo, Killer Croc, Katana, Boomerang, because of the movie, because of the story, they're kind of pushed off to being side characters. Each one does have that one really cool character moment and character spot that you're going to say, oh, I love Boomerang for X reason, and I love Katana for X reason, but they don't really have this kind of strong, I don't know how to say it, just they're not as important in the story as, let's say Deadshot and Harley Quinn. So that's, again, one of the downfalls of having such a big cast. I still think they did good. There is this one really cool scene with Boomerang towards the beginning of it that, it just makes me want to kind of see him in a future film, whether that's another Suicide Squad film or a solo Flash film. I want to see more of the character. And that goes the same with Killer Croc. There's a lot of awesome scenes with him. He doesn't have a lot of dialogue, so that's a little bit of a bummer. But, what we saw of him, it's cool. And so you want more of him, whether that is in another Suicide Squad film or a solo Batman film. So I think they did a really good job of kind of setting up this world, setting up these characters, and just, I'm always of the person who I think if the movie makes you want more of it, they did a good job. If the movie makes you want less of it, they kind of failed at it. So in that sense, I think Suicide Squad really nailed it and was positive. I talk about kind of like how they're very, very respectful to the history of these characters. I gotta say, I'm not the biggest Suicide Squad fan. I have been trying to read up on them just so I can kind of get a feel for what, the movie might portray. And I gotta say that, there were so many great comic book moments in the film that I was like, oh my god, I literally just read this recently. Stuff like having the prison in Louisiana, stuff like, the interaction of kind of Boomerang and Slipknot, right? Like, stuff like that really did happen in the book and how it was portrayed. So I was like, wow, this is really cool, because I still feel this is a different take on the squad. This is obviously the DCEU version, so it's not going to be, quote unquote comic book, representation. But I think they did a really great job in the overall thing. I know a lot of people are kind of hating on the antagonist of the film, but I think it works. In a film where you have so many characters, you have to introduce, you have so much setup. I think the character they chose to have the squad go against made sense, and it, I think it worked. Not every film is gonna have the greatest villain, right? Not every film can be The Dark Knight where the Joker steals the whole movie. But I think that's good because, one, in a superhero film, even though these guys are villains themselves, they are the heroes of the story. And I think you want to root for the heroes and you want them to succeed. If you're rooting for the bad guy, then when the bad guy ultimately loses, you feel unsatisfied. So I think this film does a really good job. It is hopefully the first of many films, right? Hopefully we will get a Suicide Squad sequel and we will see these characters pop up in multiple different movies across the DCEU. But yeah, I mean, overall, I'm just super satisfied with the film. It was just really awesome. I gotta say that, BBS kind of left me very polarized because I didn't hate it, but it was just really weird how I saw it, right? Of course, the second time that I saw BBS, I did like it a lot more, but still, I didn't fall in love with it automatically. And Suicide Squad, I feel like from the get-go, from, how they started the film, I was just like, this is what I've been wanting. I like the attitude and kind of like this real world realism they kind of threw in there, from kind of like this prison motif of all these tattoos. Diablo's kind of story arc from, why he no longer wants to use his powers to kind of finally fighting with the squad. That was super interesting, and it's like something you don't see in superhero films, and to be quite honest, you don't really see in many films. So it was a really cool and interesting take. I don't want to say I love the film just because I haven't fully decided that yet, but I mean, I'm pretty sure I loved it. It's just awesome feeling to go into a film that, you're interested in and be able to walk out and be like, that's exactly what I wanted. So like that's my review. Like I don't want to really go into any spoilers just because it's an awesome film, and I think going in without knowing nothing, that's gonna be awesome because you're gonna be able to get all those cool surprises. There's not really any negatives aside that there were some editing parts, just like BBS, where I felt like some of the editing was a little wonky. I felt that we got 80% of a scene, we got the setup of it, and then exactly what happened, but we didn't get the build up in between it. So I feel there was some kind of like weird things. The story itself also escalated real quickly. It was, we got the introduction of, all the different team members. Then quickly something bad happened to get that team go into action. So I feel like that did escalate fast. And so, in a weird way, there was a pacing issue, but I think it still did fine. If there is like, an extended cut in Ultimate Edition, obviously that would be a lot better, and it'll kind of iron out any of these kind of like weird wrinkles. But overall, the theatrical version was awesome, and it was great, and it was perfect, and I highly recommend it to everybody. If you guys are DC Comics fans, superhero fans in general, or just, movie fans, this is a really cool, interesting film that I think you guys are gonna like it. Like I said, the music was awesome, the imagery was awesome. It was a very colorful film, and that's kind of weird to say considering that the film is quote-unquote dark and it has all these villains. But it was just a really cool and fun time. I went with my brother and my sister. Tonight I'm gonna go with them again, as well as my sister and my brother-in-law. But so far, everybody did like the film. There was nobody who felt uncomfortable or felt bored or whatever. So I think that's just awesome to say about a film that I think they nailed it. I'm super excited, for Justice League and Wonder Woman and for the rest of the DCEU. Like I said, I want to see a Suicide Squad sequel. Before I go, I do want to say that the little, Batman does show up in the scenes, and I gotta say how they kind of portray him and how he gets in the story is really cool. That is something I've been wanting to see my entire life, and so it was really awesome to kind of see that portrayed in live action. Like I said, there's a lot of great respect and homage to the comics, to the history of all these characters. It simply put, it was beautiful. The imagery and the film itself was really beautiful to kind of watch. But there you guys go. That is my review of Suicide Squad. Like I said, I really liked it. I really enjoyed it, and I highly recommend it to everybody. But go ahead, comment down below. Tell me your guys' thoughts and opinions. Have you guys seen the film? Did you guys like it? Are you guys interested in more stories of these characters? Whatever you guys want to say, go ahead, comment down below. Like the video, you guys like it. Dislike if you didn't. And subscribe and look forward to more videos, guys. Thanks. Laters.